We started the day driving through the winding lanes of the Cotswolds, and straight away it felt like I stepped into a completely different world. The roads are narrow, twisting through the countryside, and you can't rush even if you wanted to. But honestly, that's part of the charm. It forces you to slow down and just take everything in. The sky was still heavy with cloud when I set off, giving everything this soft, muted tone. It actually made the colours feel richer, the greens deeper, the stone warmer, and there was this calm, almost quiet stillness to the whole landscape. Every now and then, the road would open up, just enough to reveal sweeping views across the countryside, patchwork fields stretching into the distance, and the occasional cottage tucked away like it had been there for centuries. This was one of those drives where you find yourself slowing down without even thinking about it, partly because of the narrow lanes, but mostly because you don't want to miss anything. Even the simplest details, hedgerows, winding bends, the way the landscape gently rises and falls, feels worth paying attention to. After a while, I made my way into Blockley, and this place is something special. It's one of those villages that feels almost untouched. The cottages are built from that warm Cotswold stone, and they've got so much character. Nothing feels overly polished or staged. It just feels real. I spent some time just walking through the lanes, no real plan, just taking it all in. And one of those things that really stood out was the wisteria climbing up the front of so many cottages, spilling over doorways and windows. It gave the whole place this soft, almost storybook feel. It's the kind of place where you naturally slow down. There's no rush, no noise, just quiet streets, birds in the background, and that sense of calm you don't really get in busier places. Eventually, we decided it was time to move on, and more importantly, time for something to eat. And when you're in a place like this, there's really only one thing that makes sense: a proper cream tea. So we found a spot to sit down and ordered a classic scone with Devonshire clotted cream and strawberry jam. Simple, but exactly what you want in a setting like this. There's always the debate about what goes first, the cream or the jam, but honestly, I don't think you can go too wrong either way. As we sat still in the village, we noticed something a bit unusual with how the townsfolk dressed. We noticed a small gathering, which is when I spotted cameras, equipment, and a crew. And that's when it clicked. I'd accidentally walked onto a filming location for Father Brown. If you don't know, it's a British period detective series, and it fits perfectly in a place like this. The setting, the architecture, it all makes sense. So of course, I stayed for a while. I ended up sitting there for quite a while, just quietly taking it all in. It wasn't something I'd planned at all, but it turned out to be one of the highlights of the day. What started as a simple drive through the countryside turned into something a lot more memorable than I expected. That's the thing about places like Blockley and the Cotswolds in general. You go for the scenery, for the peaceful atmosphere, but it's the unexpected moments that really stay with you. The little surprises, the things you couldn't plan. And somehow, they end up being the best parts. By the end of it, I'd realised I'd barely checked the time at all. So if you ever find yourself in the Cotswolds, take your time, don't rush it, because you never really know what you might stumble across.